For those of you who keep up with our videos, you know that our little Rusty, our little sweetheart of a dog, passed away. He had pancreas cancer, and it just couldn't be cured. He was in a lot of pain and agony, and we had to go ahead and let the vet, put him down because he was hurting so bad. We couldn't let that happen. For those of you who all said you were sorry and gave our condolences, we appreciate it. We realized it was just a little doggy, but he was such a major part of our family. He was abandoned at McDonald's 4 years ago, maybe a little less than 4 years ago. He would have been 4 years old, and we brought him in and took care of him, and he had all kinds of little medical problems, but we took care of him all. We got through it all, but this was one that he couldn't beat, and we couldn't help him. Did everything we could. The vet worked on him for a week. It was just too much. He had a golf ball size tumor on his pancreas. It was just so bad, and it just happened, like overnight. I mean, the day before he was fine. The next morning he was in terrible condition. So it hit that hard. But anyway, I chose to bury him here, where the wife could keep an eye. She just wanted to be able to look out and see his little grave once in a while. And I'm going to put a little white picket fence around it, I think, just to kind of keep any animals away. And we put the slate there. But anyway, it kind of makes me feel bad. He never did anything wrong. He was a happy little thing. But one time I had to get on him, But being a pet owner, sometimes you just gotta bring the old hammer down. You know what I'm saying? It was back in May of 2014. I've got to do some heavy disciplining of Rusty. He's got to learn. Okay, now you see this. This is not. You do not eat money. See, you don't eat money. You eat snackies. Okay. Okay. We do not take money to our bed and tear it up anymore. You got that? Have you got that? Huh? All right. I think you're learning your lesson here. There's no doubt about it. I can see. I know you're remorseful. It is workbench moving day. I'm not looking forward to it. And I've got all the drawers out up on top, and what was on top is now on the table. And I think the wife said I could keep this stuff here for about a week or so. Can I keep this stuff on the table for about a week? No. No. How about just four or 5 days? No. No compromising? No. No compromising. All right, I'll just have to keep working at it. By the way, a while back, Phil, 321PB, our good subscriber over in England, the country of England, he noticed this statue sitting on the workbench. One day it just sort of mysteriously appeared in one of my videos. And he said, what is that? Is there any significance to it? Well, actually there is. The whole idea, you will see this at a later date, the whole idea was to get a small lamp that had no shade. So I found one at the St. Joseph's Catholic Church flea market one day for $1. And what it was is this little baby right here was sitting on top like that. And I thought that was kind of neat. However, it was a little bit loose and everything, so I took it off. I've got to clean up the bottom just a little bit more. And it had a bunch of sort of like plaster, a heavier, thicker plaster filled the entire thing. I'm going to wind up putting some weights in there, and it weighted it down to keep it from falling over. But when I took the statue off, the statuette, I guess is what they call it, there was a big hole in there. I don't know how that happened, but that's probably why it got loose. It's possible somebody glued it on at a later date. It had actually fallen off. But the thing that, after I took it off, there was something odd about this lamp. I remember thinking when I bought it, I said, there's something odd about this. You just don't see, it's obviously old. Yeah, it's a pretty old lamp. You just don't see these anymore. So I got looking at the bottom to see if there were any markings on it. Let me get this out of the way. I don't want this thing getting broken at this stage of the game, making a video or something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's on the bottom. Let me see if I can find a place to hold it. Yeah, this radio, that is a good place to hold it. I'm going to show you right here See if I can zero in, let you see what it says. Made in occupied Japan. That was right after the war. This little thing was worth more than the $1 I paid for it. So I looked it up online. There were several different types of lamps of this style. You know, I mean, it was the same basic base, but the ceramic was, they had, you know, 2 people with a street lamp and different things like that. Anyway, I guess it's worth probably around $20 or more. And of course, I don't know what this probably has something to do with lowering the price, but it'll never be seen once the little statue's on there. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's going to be one of my future projects, and I will be using this lamp for something that you'll see once I get the workbench set up out in the shop. So let me get back to doing this mess. Boy, I tell you, I'm going to have to do it piece by piece because, again, it is very, very hot outside. Before I get started, though, I want you all to see these drawers. Is this ridiculous? These drawers were empty, completely empty when I started with this workbench. Look at the junk and crap I've accumulated. I don't even know what's down in there. I'll tell you what, here's the way it works in my mind. If I don't know what's down in there, that means I've never used it. If I've never used it, I don't need it. And if I don't need it, out it goes. Well, the desk is gone, and wifey's table is clean once again. And it's been a hot job. The heat index today in Arkansas, where we live, is 103 degrees. So I'm taking it bit by bit. You know, if I was old Buzz, I'd probably be out there in a chair trying to do it. It is now put in the shop, but not put together. That's where our bench is going to go. And look what we got over here. What a ton of crap. We will be going through all of this and getting rid of what we don't want. I already got rid of a bunch, but there's still quite a bit that we can get rid of. You know, I think our little old shop here could use a little smell. It needs to smell, you know, sort of like a really cool shop. I'm going to put some lavender vanilla in there. And then we're going to put a little bit of lavender vanilla in there. Then I think I'll brighten it up. Just let it heat for a while. Let it smell good. A while back, one of our good subscribers, ZB1971, sent us, well, he sent me the link in one of our videos for Polish dill pickles, how to make Polish dill pickles, a different way from the way I made the first batch. By the way, the first batch didn't turn out too bad. The ones that wifey made turned out better than mine. But anyway, I had lost it when I had to replace a hard drive a while back, and it got lost in the process. So I asked, I couldn't remember who gave it to me. I get so many comments, you know. So I asked again, whoever did that, would you please, you know, supply the link again? And he did. ZB1971, he was gracious enough to take care of that. I thanked him. Anyway, these are cucumbers off our cucumber vine. And it's the standard stuff. Now, this leaf in here is horseradish leaf, the horseradish that was supplied by another of our good subscribers, Scott Johnston. Then we have some garlic and some other pieces of horseradish floating around in there. And so actually the only thing, and these are called quick eating salted dill cucumbers in brine, just Polish pickle. And there's one way of making them. There's probably 10,000 ways. But the purpose of the bowl here is to keep the pickles below the surface of the liquid. Okay, you don't want anything exposed to the top. It's just your standard stuff. Sea salt. We put some sea salt in there according to the recipe. And we use some overgrown dill. See this yellow flowery looking stuff? Let me zoom in here. We had some overgrown dill in our garden, and it worked out perfect. These are kind of the flowers at the top. And then we put the horseradish root pieces in there and the leaves. And we put some peeled garlic in there. And of course you have your boiled water and, you know, a bunch of other stuff. Now mustard seed and peppercorns were not added. They're optional. And the wife didn't want those in there. And it's supposed to take, I don't know, maybe a week. We ought to be able to go ahead and eat some. Well, wifey is finally happy. She now has her dining room completely back. except for that one shelf over there. She allowed me to keep my 630B on there, plus one of those Space Saver AM/FM radios, and everything else went out into the shop. This cabinet is now empty. She can put some spare pots and pans or whatever she needs to put in there. She's happy. Let's go out and take a look at the shop and see how that's coming along. Well, it doesn't look like we're making a lot of progress, but we are making progress. Shut this door, keep the air con in. We're getting there. I got some shelves up, I got more shelves up, and I've got the table in place, and over here I've got a rack with some radios on it. I'm going to put a plywood bottom there, so I have another shelf and another plywood bottom there, another shelf and another plywood bottom there, another shelf. There's going to be shelves here, there's going to be shelves there, there's going to be shelves over here in this space, there's going to be shelves along here, and probably a shelf or two along here. There's going to be so many shelves in this place. I want to get as many of the radios as I have in the shop as possible, where it's, a little more temperature controlled. And we've got all of our old test equipment up here. I dropped my VTVM, and the probe smacked into the concrete down here, knocked the faceplate off of it, but it snapped back on. I'll probably have to take it back off and make sure that the adjustment thing is where the needle is. But I can't find the tip of the probe. It broke it off, but I think I can glue it if I can find it. Anyway, tomorrow I hope to have the old bench set up, the variac and the meters and the plugs and all that crap, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, folks. Today is the 28th of October 2016, and we have left the state of Arkansas, and we are now driving to Mississippi. Our destination is a town called Rogersville in the state of Alabama. And I have with me my trusty sidekick, Ethan, our next to youngest grandson. He's going to help me. Say hi, Ethan. We are entering the town of Rogersville, Alabama. Exactly where we want to be. For those of you who keep up with my videos, you know that I took a sabbatical last year, and I said when we came back from the sabbatical, the sabbatical actually lasted longer than expected as far as restoration projects go. Old vintage electronics restoration projects, everything's been kind of mishmash, but there's been a reason for that, as you already know, with the shop and different things. Anyway, we're now back, and it's time to let everybody know what the major project was. I told you when we took the sabbatical that we would be back with a project that, as far as I was concerned, it had never been done on YouTube before. There had been bits and pieces and parts and this and that, but nothing as far as a restoration from beginning to end. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do an electronic and cabinet restoration from beginning to end on this little item. And this is it, folks. This is our new project, a Seeburg AY100U. This is what we drove to Alabama to pick up. And the one that, I'll tell you what, I've never restored a jukebox. Brendan, my electronics mentor, has never restored a jukebox, but we're going to restore this one. Yes, we are. And the reason that, now today is still March, and I had to get this thing filmed because if I do retire soon, I'm not going to have access to the chroming vats that I use on my radios. Alright, the lid, she just lifts right up just like that, and it catches over here automatically, and but that's what holds it up. This thing is an AY100 because it holds 50 records and it plays both sides of the records. So that's about 100 songs. Anyway, this is your pickup arm right here. Let me zoom in on that. This is the mechanism that makes it play and extracts all the records and all that jazz. We'll be removing all of this. This pickup arm has a needle on both sides. And they're very expensive to replace, I think about almost $200, I guess. You know how it is, you know. Anyway, the record goes in. If the person presses the letter and the number of a record that he wants to play, of a song he wants to play, and the song is on the right-hand side of the record. Once it comes out vertically like this, then the tone arm will flip. I mean, the pickup arm will flip to the right and then come back against the record from this direction. If the song that the individual selects, say here and here, wherever, if that song is on the left side of the record, when the record comes out and is sitting here in a vertical position, then this pickup arm will be moved to this side to where it hits the record from that side and plays the song on this side. That's why there's a needle on both sides of the pickup of the cartridge head. But those cartridge heads are very expensive. Anyway, that's what's going on. This is March. The shop's not entirely finished yet. Tomorrow is April the 1st, matter of fact. But the lady that owned this advertised it, and we on Craigslist. And no, let me see. It was first on Craigslist and then on eBay, I think it was. Or maybe eBay and Craigslist. I can't remember now. It's been a few months. But anyway, we negotiated back and forth till we got the price that I wanted and the price that she was willing to accept. And I said, sold. I sent her the money. And Ethan and I, our next to youngest grandson, went down to Alabama and picked it up. You'll hear more about this once we begin the project. This is one of those pitted side rails. I finally figured out how to get them off from around the outside edge of the jukebox top. It wasn't. I just had to study it a little bit longer. This is the pitted one. Well, I took it to work, and I asked the chrome guys if they could chrome it. And they said, "Nope, you can't do it. It's pop metal, and the only way you could do it would be to put copper over the top, and they don't have the capability of laying a coating of copper and then chroming over the top." However, we came up with a plan B. They have this giant buffing machine here. Well, it's not giant, but it's a good-sized buffing wheel with compound. And he took me over there, and we kind of said, well, let's throw it on the buffer and see what that'll do. Maybe, you know, as long as we don't, you know, buff completely through the existing pitted chrome, maybe it'll make it look a little better. Well, this is what we got. Check that out, huh? Does that look a whole lot better? Does that look a whole lot better? This is after, and this is before. So I think over the next couple days I'm going to go back there a little early from work every day, and maybe even after work I'll run in there. They don't work on Friday, so today's Friday. I'll have a chance to buff up at least this one completely, and next week hopefully finish the rest. But it turned out a whole lot better. It's not a lot shinier than it was. I think that's going to be an acceptable plan B for this thing. I'll put some nice polish on it when I get done. But there's a big difference. The pits are still there, but the tops have been knocked off them, and they're nice and smooth and shined up pretty nice. I think that's going to be an acceptable plan. I just contacted an outfit in Pennsylvania. I gave him a call, and I talked to the guy, and I said, hey, look, if I send you a video of what I need, can you give me an estimate? He says, yeah, sure, no problem. So I sent him an unlisted YouTube video with the measurements, you know. And this is okay. I mean, it looks okay, but it's just really, really pitted. I mean, I buffed up. Both of them are now buffed up, and they're shiny, but, you know, gosh, if I can get a decent price on a re-chrome job. I haven't had anything chrome in so long, I really don't know. I hope it's a reasonable estimate. If so, we're shipping these babies off to Pennsylvania and get them re-chromed. The front of the jukebox got a lot of mud on it up to about here, but fortunately this is a plastic grill. Had that been cloth, it would have probably been ruined. I'd have had to come up with something else. So we're kind of lucky there, and these things here are plastic, so they're in pretty good shape. Let's look at the sides and the back. Well, right now it looks like the speakers did get some mud and stuff on them, but the water didn't quite get high enough to where it went all the way in. Maybe just the bottom part. I'll know after I take it out. But you can see the whole bottom's covered with mud. We have a lot of wood that has separated and come up here and here. You know, typical work we have to do. You know, clamp it down, glue it, clamp it down, glue it, play musical clamps. Just don't have a choice, you know. The side over here got peeled up a little. This kind of plastic stuff. Some of this I may have to just glue down and live with. I don't know. We'll see. This overall, we got pretty lucky with that. But there's going to take an awful lot of cleaning. Here we got some peeling that came apart. We're going to have to glue all that together. Oh well, I consider myself fortunate actually, considering how much water came in here. The last thing I want to show you is that I did manage to pick up a service manual and parts list for our jukebox. I bought it from a place called Jukebox Arcade. They specialize in jukebox manuals. So it's jukeboxmanuals.com. Alright. And I bought two of them. One for myself and one for Brendan. So we would be on the same sheet of music. We had a CD that, you know, we could put up on the computer screen, but that, you know, that's a pain to me, running back and forth to the computer, back and forth. No, you know, that's just not going to work. We needed a manual, something I could take notes on. Back here there's a lot of empty pages that you can take notes on the left hand side, and they got nice big schematics that you can, you know, unfold out, which is nice. Everything you could possibly want. And there was some blank pages. Here we go. We can make a lot of notes here if we want on things that, you know, we want to remember or whatnot. But everything we could possibly need is right here. All kinds of stuff, all kinds of information, installation, how to align it, what fits where, what goes where. You know, I've never restored one of these, neither has Brendan. Now, Brendan has done some electronic work on a couple, or at least one. But he never restored it, you know, and that's what we're going to do from beginning to end. And I just want you to know we're pretty much prepared now. And we're ready to rock and roll now that this shop is complete. And I hope you all decide to come along with us. It's going to be a long ride. This is going to be a long, you know, you think we had some long video series in the past. This one's going to be, first of all, it's going to be fun. You know, do I know how to do any of this stuff? No. Never touched one in my life. Do I know anything about them? No. Nothing. That's the best. And that's the fun stuff, you know. Don't fix things. You know, after you've been doing radios and things as long as I have, take on something you know nothing about. Nothing. Everything you touch, you're either going to break it or fix it. So, hang with us. I hope everybody does. Some people won't care. Some people will run out of, you know, energy before I do and say, I don't want to watch that series anymore. Fine and dandy, you know, whatever floats your boat, as they say. But for those of you who stick around, you know, we're more than welcome to have you along. You're more than welcome to come along with us, okay? So that's it. Let me know what you all think. Until next time, this is John.